Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Calandra League 3.20. In this episode, I'm going to be going over my best League starter I've ever made. I'm so excited to show this to you. It's the most in-depth POB guide I've ever made, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. It's got everything. Let's go through it. Alright, to get it started, in the description will be a link to Path of Building. This is the calculator we use to do the to actually see the numbers for minions and to see all the stats and to see, and I put a whole guide in here and I'll explain how to use it. But yeah, you should go download Path of Building, and then you might still have to get the community fork, but now I'll explain. So you take the code and you import it here, and then you import, and then it'll load this POB. And I'll have it start with exactly like this, where you'll start at the beginning of the tree, you'll start at the beginning of the skills, and you'll start at the beginning of the items. So there's item sets and skill sets for the levels and the gems, and then there's same thing for the tree, all of the breakpoints for passive points, so you can select exactly where you're at. I'm going to start it off with the skills though, and basically I organized it by level, and then I also organized it by skill, and then I put some extra information, so I'll just quickly go through this. So for example, you start with Fireball, Arcane Surge on the beach, grab Zombie from the quest, Purifying Flame from the shop, grab Steel Skin at level 4 from the shop, and Summon Raging Spirit from the quest, and Phantasm from the quest, or buy the Phantasm, and then grab Frostbling from the quest, and then level 8, this is the huge power spike. Infernal Legion is massive damage. AoE, spell, it doesn't attack, so no accuracy. It's amazing. So you just need one Summon Raging Spirit and it clears because of the Infernal Legion. And then Combustion with the chance to ignite, and the big ignite and the minus ignite, fire res for the Infernal Legion. Big damage. So level 8, huge, like the build turns online. At level 4 it's already quite good, but level 8 Infernal Legion is disgusting. And then I did Zombie, Phantasm, added Lightning. I did added Lightning for the chance of shock, and then like on a crit it can shock, and then also you have minimum shocks, so at minimum it's a 5% shock, even though it's very little lightning damage. Also, I found that the zombie has very low base damage in the beginning, so this little bit of flat damage is actually pretty good, especially with Phantasms too. They have pretty low base damage. And then I didn't use minion damage because of the less life. They get extra life then. And then I put here, this is a special. So Brutus, you don't have these extra gems, and you're only on a 3-link. And Infernal Legion doesn't work that good on Brutus because it doesn't stack. You can really only have one Infernal Legion, so instead of Infernal Legion where you're killing your Summon Raging Spirit, I use Phantasm, added Lightning. Your zombies are dead here, you don't have zombies, you only have your Summon Raging Spirit because you're casting it, and the Summon Raging Spirit will make Phantasms on the boss, which is a targetable minion for you, which distracts Brutus, so you could just stand there while he attacks the Phantasms, as long as the Summon Raging Spirit keeps summoning more Phantasms, so you just have to keep spamming Summon Raging Spirit. And I did added Lightning because it was on your raised zombie, and you could just move it, and it's a blue gem, and we didn't have minion damage, and I wouldn't really want it anyways because the less minion life, like I said. After you beat Brutus, you have level 10 and you're able to get a Heavy Bolt and Jade Ammy from the shop, which allows you to equip Vitality, Precision, and then Clarity, and you don't level the Clarity past level 2, and you can use a Mana Flask if you want instead of the Clarity. You can drop it at any time. You don't need the Clarity. The Vitality and Precision are super big. So then you at 10 you can also drop Frostblink for Flame Dash. Let me grab Flame Dash, and you can also buy Val Skelly off of trade, usually for 1 chaos right away, or you can find it from a Val side area, or you could find a Val Orb and Val 1 from Act 1, which is already pre-leveled up. Like when you go to the vendor, it'll be automatically to your level, and then you could just Val it. And then here I did Val Skelly minion damage added cold, and we'll be swapping the added cold later, because the damage scaling on the Skellies is decent compared to the scaling on the added cold without the 50% more added damage. But in the beginning, this is pretty decent, and we don't really have many options. And another thing, people will say, what about without the Valskelly? Do you still use this? I think that you can still summon like 5-6 skeletons pretty consistently, and then you just summon the one summon Raging Spirit with the Infernal Legion, and it does the AoE and the burn and the clear, and this is really great additional single target DPS. So yeah, the Skellies is great. And technically you could run lightning damage instead of minion damage, so they have more life because they are quite squishy. I've found that through testing, even with my tree, but it's also fine just to resummon the Skellies, where resummoning zombies is really shitty because you have to have a corpse and then summon the zombie, and you kind of need Desecrate, and you don't even have Desecrate till 16. The Skelly, on the other hand, you can just summon them, so them being a little bit squishier isn't that bad. Let's get into the tree now that you know your beginning power spike. So, level 9 power spike is still a thing in the 9-point power spike, because in the beginning, I just want as much minion power that I can possibly get, and this is the closest stuff, and everything else is farther away, and yeah, this is very, very efficient for what we get. And then you take it into the 12-point power spike, so I'd like to have this before merveil. That's my advice for you. People who watch the video will know a lot more. Like, the switch for the Brutus is very important. It'll help you a lot, trust me. Get this before merveil, and it will speed up the merveil kill. Right after merveil, the speed of the build goes up like crazy. It scales really hard. It's just this beginning 1 to 10 is actually the roughest part of the build. I think that it actually, like, naturally scales past this pretty well, but the beginning is very rough. Almost to the point where you could justify using something else just to like pass the first thing, yeah, past the first act. It's kind of funny. So then like it's almost like our stuff needs a buff. So then level 11 to 20, you get the level 12 quest reward for Flesh Offering. This is from merveil, I'm pretty sure. Level 16 quest reward, Desecrate. And at 16, you can also buy Skitterbots. I didn't link it to Unbound Ailments because I didn't have the gem link space, and I didn't have the mana for it because I was running Clarity, Vitality, Precision, Skitterbots. It's a lot of shit. And I don't really have Reservation yet because especially I skipped the Life Mastery in the beginning. And then the level 18 minion speed quest reward, we put this on our zombie instead of the added lightning, because the extra speed is actually more damage, and then the extra move speed's cool. It's slightly less damage than like minion damage, for example, but the fact that it doesn't have the 25% less life is really good. Summoned Raging Spirit, same 3 link, but then the Valskelly, the Skelly, this was supposed to be Valskelly. Good thing going through it again. The final thing here is the minion speed. I'm gonna de-level these by 1. The minion speed instead of the added cold, and I still use the minion damage because I didn't care about the less life, but like I said, technically just like added cold minion speed Valskelly would be cool too. The main reason for these and not like melee gems is like melee fizz is the Valskelly summons Skelly archers and the mages, so I was trying to take benefit from the other, like all the stuff being spawned, not just the Skelly warriors, but technically I could link this with just Skelly warrior specific stuff, but I was trying to, like, I didn't really want to link it to brutality at 38 because of the Valskelly mages summoning and doing some cold and lightning to be able to do shocks and chills without having skitterbots, for example, kind of cool. And you just, like, technically it's extra damage that you lose if you use brutality because their LE damage does 0. So then the tree continuation, we grab the Indom army and the leech, and we grab the minion LE res side first instead of the fizz damage side, and then I rushed the extra fizz damage, and then I got to enduring bond, and I took minion overwhelm fizz damage reduction this time. So I want to explain this too. Basically, with the precision, we shouldn't have accuracy problems in the beginning, and then with the AoE doesn't help single target. We don't use the offering every time, like all the time, and we actually have more fizz damage single target than we do LE damage. The LE damage is mostly just the Summon Raging Spirit attacking, and the Infernal Legion, and the Ignite, and the minion instability, where like we have the Skellies, the zombies, and everything stacking up, and it's a lot of fizz damage. And I found that in the beginning, my minions just don't do enough fizz damage to delete the enemy's armor completely, so using this is actually just 20% more fizz damage, because it's deleting the enemy's physical damage reduction through testing. It's very big, huge, massive. This node is really impactful. Let's continue. We get 31 sacrifice, and then I wanted to also show the items. So in items, I showed that we prioritize Dex, Strength, Start, so we can level up like the Vitality and the Precision and stuff. And then you could get Sapphire Rings in the beginning for merveil, and then, you know, move speed boot, and you could use a shield, and you could use a wand. Why am I being 5C? Oh shit, I'm rich. I'm gonna log off that. Alright, let's continue. And I also show like greater life flask, greater mana flask, some quicksilver. That's pretty much what you're going to have in the first act. Very basic. And then let's continue. We get 38 masteries and the first ascendancy. So here you have 8% max LE res. We could take this because we took the ascendancy for Commander of Darkness, which in a radius of 80, our minions have 30 extra LE res, which works most of the time when in the beginning without like minions are aggressive. But when you're running, technically your minions follow you at the range of like 120 radius, and then they teleport 115, so they technically can get out of range. But our minions in the beginning, without this, were dying anyway, so this is just bonus that they may now live most of the time. This is my point, that without this, you just actually have no way of getting the LE res, so this is just better than nothing. And like, you can't really fix the like out of range thing. It's just part of it. And then here's where I go with it. It's not that bad to have some zombies die or skellies, because you could just resummon them. It's just the beginning. It's not our animate guardian. We're not used to our stuff super surviving in the beginning right now anyway, so it's fine, and they survive more with this, so it's good. This is really impactful, and then like I say, it allows me to technically use the 8 max LE res, because they can get res cap and over res cap through that if they're in range of it, 80 radius. And then I took the extra minion accuracy here because with the precision, it's not enough as they scale. So as you keep scaling, you get the flat accuracy. Then you grab the percent increased. This percent is less than the flat in the beginning because of the amount of flat you already had. So you take this, and then this. These are 20% minion accuracy per, very big. And yeah, we have the Ascendancy and a bunch of masteries. Let's go to the next one. We have 21 to 30. You get the 28 quest reward, which is a Spectre. And then for the Spectre, you're going to use a Carnage Chieftain Act 2 old fields. Easy. And let's continue. We grab Grave Pact and the minion AoE mastery. So then this is all of the minion accuracy plus the precision and the base levels. You shouldn't have any issues with minion accuracy now. It's really nice. And then I went up and I came this way first and grabbed Soul Venerity, because I write here in the, well, it's the after step. Okay, first 34 quest reward, we can get a Stone Golem, which gives us extra life regen, which at that point it was like doubling my life regen or something. It's as much life regen as the Vitality without needing the reservation, which is really good. And at 38, oh, and it also can taunt, which it taunted Innocence and in my later acts and made him beam my minions and not me, which was really funny. That's never happened before. 38 quest reward, you can get Unleash, and then you get a 4-link Summon Raging Spirit, where now you summon 4 SRS and you barely need to summon them. You just click it and then you wait, and then you click it and then you wait, and in the time of waiting you could summon skeletons. This is my point. We're a hybrid build of Skellies and summon a Raging Spirit and zombies, and yeah. Okay, so then your zombie at 38 could become zombie, multi-strike, melee fizz, minion speed, because even with minion speed phantasm, I was having trouble keeping up the phantasms. It works, but technically this just makes your zombies stronger and then keeps them alive more, which is really good. And your zombies are actually pretty strong. It's just they're squishy. And then the Act 5 quest reward is a granite flask. I wanted to put that in there. And then where I was going with this is in Act 6, I added, for example, Determination. We dropped Skitterbutts, but I wrote here that you need Solvenarity on the tree to fit Determination. So it's at this point, you grabbed Grave Pegged for the Accuracy, so now you're good on Accuracy. You come up, and you go to Solvenarity. You grab the extra Reservation Efficiency and Solvenarity, and then you're able to use this Determination and the Vitality and the Precision and all that. It's really good. Really good. It's only because these are... it's because of your level that it doesn't show the mana correctly. Like, I could show at this point, you'd be like 45 or 50 or something. There. And by the time you were at this point, yeah, it was like 45 or 50 or something. So you have plenty of mana left over after the thing. Because the base mana with the scaling. Oh, and when did I grab that? I forgot to mention that part. There was one I missed. It was this one. It also included grabbing this. So this mana reservation, this is also mana. This is percent mana, and this helps you because you're reserving flat mana with vitality and precision. These are reserving a flat amount of mana, not a percent of your mana. So having more mana helps so you can reserve it. Yeah. So you need percent mana increased it too. Usually, even when I go like the ESCI build and I don't have these mana nodes, I end up taking Deep Thoughts. Some mana nodes are usually worth it in every build. It's just diminishing returns after. Because at first this is like more mana, and then it's like increased and diminishing returns. Yeah, if you think about it. So then we continue. You can then grab you know, your Death Attunement and your offerings. And then we grab the extra strength dex. And this whole time, definitely the gear priorities would be your elemental resistances, your attributes, strength dex, life, maybe chaos res, mana. It's pretty basic stuff. It's pretty simple. Maybe minion damage, minion attack speed, minion levels, minion survivability, minion life, minion LE res, etc. Very simple. So then we grabbed more stuff. The rest of the minion life here, so they survive. We grabbed this life wheel, so we could grab vitality reservation. We grabbed this purity of flesh, so we could grab flat life. We grabbed the rest of the minion nodes for the extra minion life, the extra minion regen, the extra attack speed and damage. And I take these even for the extra 16 damage. So we took every minion thing we could possibly take, and we have a bunch of life, and we have the Vitality Mastery. We didn't take the nearby enemies have 50% less life regen rate yet. Oh, I forgot to show this part. The second lab, I did Mindless Aggression. Third lab, we did Bone Armor. I did this order slightly different. The reason for this is I like the Commander of Darkness earlier because... then you have the LE res, which helps your survivability too, and then it also helps for the Katava, and then it helps your minions, so it's like a double, and we could get the minion survivability through the tree as much as we do, and then this comes online when you need it, which is about when you hit maps, which is when you need this, because you start to push, and you could push into the tiers, and so it's perfect. Where this, yeah, you technically, this is also nice when it comes online just before maps, because you can nullify that second Katava minus res, but having it before that is even better. It's really nice, and then it's actually similar damage to Mindless Aggression with the amount of auras we have, but then it also has the benefit of the LE res, like I said, which is really nice. And then this one had the move speed bonus, and then this one has obviously the extra minion survivability and our survivability for having minions alive. But yeah. And you can actually see that as we go up and we scale this thing, we actually have extra mana. So you can actually fit extra stuff or have extra mana or not need as much reservation. So you could save points. It's really cool. And I want to show the build at Act 6. So we have a 4-link Summon Raging Spirit with Summon Raging Spirit, Unleash Infernal Legion Combustion, a 6-link Zombie. So Zombie, Multi-Strike, Brutality, Ruthless, Melee, Fizz, Impale. Why'd I do Impale? It technically would be easier to link. There wasn't that great of a 6th gem. The 6th gem would be like minion damage. And I technically have Dread Banner, and Impale's not bad. Yeah. And then, like I said, it might be easier to get this because we have to get, for example, a map, a body armor with 1 green, 1 blue, 4 red, corrupted, and maybe life on it. Because we will probably get a corrupted 6-link with some stats, so you have the extra armor and life over a tabula, and then you have to get the right colors, but maybe you could get a red base, like a full strength base, and then you just use the crafting bench with like 4 Valorbs and some chromes, and try your luck. Trying to get like, my point is like 2 blue might be harder than 1 blue, 1 green, I don't know, just putting it out there. And the Impale is not bad, like I said, because you're doing Dread Banner and you're doing Fizz, it's actually pretty good. So then Valskelly, I did Valskelly, minion damage, minion speed, Mim. Technically I'm not happy with the Mim. Minion damage, minion speed is nice because I told you it works with the mages and the archers and the general and all that. The Mim doesn't really work, but it'll mostly work, and then it buffs the rest of the Fizz damage, which is the main benefit. I also thought about linking it to Feeding Frenzy, so the Skellies would dash, but then the Valskelly doesn't dash, and then it's not actually extra damage, it's only a buff for the whole team, and so I did the Feeding Frenzy on the Stone Golem and the Spectre, which in this case, the Spectre is still the Carnage Chieftains, because until maps, you don't even hit the mod that steals the powers and Frenzy charges, so the Monkey's still pretty good, and then we can link him to Feeding Frenzy, so he gives the buff, so my minions do more damage and attack speed and cast speed and all that, which isn't enabled. And then I wrote needing Sovereignty on the tree to fit Determination, and you have to drop Skitterbots. And then Determination, Vitality, Flame Dash. And then here we did Precision, Dread Banner, Generosity. So Generosity for the increased effect. We don't get the extra range until the quality. And then you get 40 AoE. And you could do Alt Qual for 100 AoE. Flesh Offering. And then, you know, the Bone Armor from the Bone Barrier skill. Which, technically, I thought about it. If you rush this, like I was doing before, you get a level 20 bone armor, and you wouldn't have a level 20 steel skin at this point in the game. Because you're getting it so early, it's like 55 or something, you're going to have a level 20 bone armor. It's kind of cool. If this was the first Ascendancy, it'd kind of be broken, like Giga broken. It's really cool. So then, yeah, that's third lab, and that's the tree for Act 6. Now I want to show the last page. So this was grabbing the golem, so you could put in an extra chaos golem. And you get the extra golem buff effect, which getting like 80% of a stone when I told you the stone is the vitality. So this like double the stone golem. It's really strong. And then we grab this, and I put on this life mastery, which is the increased life recovery from flash used when on low life. I believe this is getting deleted and being replaced with the nearby enemies have less life regeneration, so this should work. You should take that instead. And then I took this node, and I took Determination Reservation, but technically I think you should have enough. One of the reasons for this is in my extra page, so this is Uberlab, later, you're going to want to drop the Summon Raging Spirit, which frees up four sockets. You can then fit Chaos Golem and Pride, and possibly some other stuff. That it maybe even free up that unset ring, so you don't need an unset ring anymore. And then the point is, yeah, the Pride is the extra reservation, and then you could balance around that, and maybe even de-level the Precision just a little bit, using Scouring Orbs or Orbs of Regret, or even buy a new Precision and level it up, because of the reservation. Precision is the one thing you could probably take out or lower first, because of how you have all of the accuracy on the tree. And we could even build a little bit more accuracy. We could technically go War Banner instead of Dread Banner. But I do like the Dread Banner quite a lot. It's also really funny to see, it was this part. When you go in here, Summon Raging Spirit actually can get Impale chance, but because it fully converts the Fizz to Ellie, it doesn't have any Fizz for the Impale, so it does 0. It's so funny. Thought that was really cool. Also, the SRS has 3000 accuracy, which is really good at only level 12, and it's only monster like requiring level 44, and it's already 3000, and so it scales up even more, obviously. Let me show the 20. It can go up to 5,000, and that is the sweet spot that I like to be at. 3,000 is the minimum, I say, for endgame. 5,000 is way better, and 7,000 is the max you should ever need. If something needs more than that, it's kind of imbalanced. That's just the way it is. Yeah. Okay, so I only took the tree to 86, and then I did Uber Lab, and like some of the stuff that's freeing after is technically the 10% minion life, the minion instability, the extra minion life here, this extra survivability, the accuracy. We could replace all this with jewels and clusters and other things after scaling jewel sockets. There's like a 2-point jewel socket here, 2-point jewel socket here, 3-point jewel socket, which then connects the rest of the tree, 3-point jewel socket. You know, it just continues. Another 2-point jewel socket. Point is, you could scale this quite easily. And then I wanted to show the gear to show like potential items you could look for and prioritize. So like I said, it started with a Jade Ammy. So I did a Citron here, and then a heavy belt for the strength dex. Very important. Unset ring for the extra socket. Bone ring for the minion Ellie res. All you need technically is a minion bone ring with the shittiest minion Ellie res roll possible, and anything better than that is good enough, because you can see that they're over res cap by 36, which is the 30 of the Commander of Darkness. You want more because of curses and elemental ailments like Scorch, lowering the minion resistance, but I'm just saying that technically this is the minimum to get them over, to get to the 83 max LE res. But then, yeah, the extra layers of lowering the resistance, so you need extra protection for that. And the Commander of Darkness isn't always on, so yeah. Bone Ring with Minion LE res. This is 26, and that's already enough. With the tree, 23. Yeah. Then we had the Citron, and I just showed some bases. So here I did an armor ES glove, so you could roll the colors, because I even socketed these things in specific. So like 2 blue, 1 red, and you just had to hit a green on a red blue glove. And then the boot is a 4 blue boot, and the reason for this is it's where you put your Summon Reading Spirit. And then the boot is also your move speed. So trying to hit a good boot with move speed while being like an armor base and hitting the right colors, really unlikely. So it's just easier to hit an energy shield boot with a 4-link blue, and then hitting move speed. Yeah, way more likely. And then body armor, like I showed, we just start with a strength base, corrupted, and we probably recolor it with the crafting bench. Or we could find these colors, and maybe we don't even use green, we might do 2 blue. What would I do instead? It's probably minion damage, right? Well, it is, but what could I use instead? Fortify, maim, culling, crit, added fire, but it's brutality, so no. A minion speed, technically. Yeah, there's a few options here. We're gonna do minion speed. I'll be honest, I didn't think that the Impale could show worse in PoB. I don't really know how that's possible, but it's fine. We'll put minion speed. It's actually better, and then like I said, it actually gains the extra minion move speed anyway, so my zombie just got buffed in my guide. It actually just got better, and then this actually showed me something else too. I wanted to put Culling Strike somewhere in my build because we don't have it, because we don't have the Animate Guardian yet, and like it's technically just 10% more damage when it's executing, and so I was really thinking about putting it on like the Skelly instead of the Mam, and then putting the maim somewhere else, or even just taking off the unleash on the summon raging spirit and putting culling strike, because you don't actually need like 4 summon raging spirits for the Infernal Legion. So then I could just have 1 summon raging spirit doing it all, and then having it also culling strike. It's really interesting. I don't really know so many options here with that, but what I have here altogether is really strong, and I'm really happy with it. And a small switch at the end, Impale to minion speed, seems even stronger actually. At the same time, I found something. So while I was doubting my Impale support on the zombie, I also noticed that okay, I looked at this. It was Dread Banner versus War Banner at the same spot. So they're comparable, except War Banner is a higher level, because, yeah. And then you actually get 29.57 and you get 28.50. But then this has to stack, and so the War Banner just works, and then the War Banner actually has extra accuracy. This has technically lowering the enemy's accuracy, which is actually good at making you more evasive, which is nice. But technically this also raises accuracy, so instead of 3,000, 34.95, it's actually pretty good. But the other thing is this was against an enemy that is a standard boss 45. Okay, if you did a Guardian Pinnacle, yeah, we could leave it at 45, and then you show it. It's only when I did the higher scaling. Okay, yeah, this shit went to like 83 or something, 84. So they have extra armor now. And then the Impale, 783, and this one's 1908. And so why would War Banner help you against a thing with more armor over the Impale? It's because I've already figured that Impale's separate damage, separate hit, kind of, in a way. And so it calculates separately against the armor as a small hit. And whereas War Banner's increasing my average hit to be bigger, so then it makes it more competitive against that armor. Like a bigger hit does better against the same armor. Yeah. So then you can actually show it when you click the Dread Banner. This is the enemy Fizz damage reduction 33, and then what it actually does to your Impale after, and how much you get. Yeah. Okay, now we show the War Banner. So you're doing 23.4, I think, percent Fizz damage reduction after the effective. Like, it was 33 the same, but then it has the increase reduced damage taken. So it's 7.766. Let's check the other one. See what it said before? Yeah, it doesn't have that. Yeah. So that's huge. It's that increased Fizz damage taken. So it's like a more... It's... For some reason, my MAM's not applied either then until... Yeah. So there we go. So with it, 0.268. And that's with the Dread Banner. But then the War Banner is way more. And helping for that... increasing the Fizz damage, which then increases how effective it is at deleting armor. So this is 0.17. So it's just a more multiplier on top of... It's really sick. This is so good. If you've ever summoned a zombie or summoned a minion, hit the like button. If you guys made it to this part in the video and you hit the like button, why aren't you subscribed? Hit that subscribe button so you guys are notified of the follow-up videos, because this is just the starter. You need to know where to scale this build into, what to do. You need to know the budget build. You need to know what to get, what's broke, and all the cool new shit. So hit that sub button so you're notified of the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys all have as good of a league start as I do. This build is going to carry us all. It's our build. Hope you guys did enjoy the skeleton plus summon rooting spirit league starter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!